Hi, ladies, the VYG ladies. How are you doing? And everyone else who is watching. VYG, by the way, stands for Victory Youth Group. If maybe you are watching this for the first time, this is a book reading kind of club thing going, and we are reading this book at the moment. And today we're going to read secret number 2. Are you ready? The title is Something Difficult. Let's see what is that difficult. What is so difficult for us ladies? Right, it says, girl, do you know what one of the hardest things in the world is? Hearing the truth.
I want the truth! You can't handle the truth!
I agree with that. Not everyone is ready to hear the truth. You must first have an emotional structure, spirituality, and humility to hear certain truths. Whoever said that the truth hurts was right. In fact, the truth can hurt a lot.
How dare you?
But that's not to say that it's bad. It's actually quite the contrary. You know when someone says something hurtful to you and it almost seems as if it were cutting right through you. But deep down, you know that the person is absolutely right. Well, I've gone through situations myself where I heard some truths, and anyway, it was not easy. But we'll get into that afterwards, okay? It says, has this ever happened to you? Do you remember how you reacted? Your reaction is what counts. That's what really matters. Were you resentful, offended, or worse still, did you hold a grudge against that person? Girl, if you are not humble enough to accept the truth, how can we grow up and even begin to think of marriage? I am sure that your husband will not hesitate to tell you a few truths. And what then? Will you hold a grudge against him too? Look, I'm not saying that the truth will not hurt or that we won't be saddened by it, but this sadness should be directed towards ourselves, and pay attention to this, it shouldn't last long. So you hear something that is truthful, it hurts you, don't dwell on it. Fix it and move on. So I like this part here. One day, and this is the author talking about an experience, one day my husband said to me, "You are very proud." That was the end of the road for me, she says. Thoughts began to bombard my mind. First I was angry. What nonsense, me? Proud? Then I was mortified because he thought that of me. What a monster he is, I thought. Afterwards, however, I got down on my knees and cried until my throat hurt. He was right. Yeah. It was too painful to admit and face the truth. I felt worthless. It was humiliating, but oh, what good it did me. So, let's talk about this, shall we? Okay, let me tell you something. People who really love us, I can think of a parent, I can think of a husband, they will always tell us the truth or something that not many people will have the courage to say. For example, someone who comes to you and says, we have bad breath.
I mean, it's one thing if you have bad shoes or even bad hair, but...
Patrick! You're not ugly. Your breath stinks. Really bad.
Or there's something on your tooth. Or what else? I think you forgot to wear deodorant today. Or think of something along these lines. Or maybe someone, for example, me being married, my dear, let me tell you, if you don't like to hear the truth, like the author said, I agree with her 100%, then you are not ready for marriage. You will always have problems because it's a very important part of a happy marriage, a godly marriage. one of the foundations is truth. And your husband who loves you, remember I'm talking to ladies here, that's why I'll mention husband, will always bring something up that is annoying or a bad habit or something that didn't sound right. We have to be humble and spiritual and mature to understand that, first of all, it may not be easy for that person to tell us what they are saying to us, but also because they care and they love us enough to want to say that to us. So focus on that rather than how you feel, because we will always feel awkward, we will always feel embarrassed. Like it happened to me a while back. I was with a group of friends, like for a good few hours, and nobody said to me that I had a black thing on my tooth. I wish someone had said, I wish someone had cared enough to tell me, instead of me making a fool of myself the whole day. So the person who approaches you and tells you, hey, you have a problem, the way you speak, you sound very sarcastic, or you have an attitude, this is why maybe, you don't have many friends, because you need to work on your whatever skill. So learn from that person. Who else would have the courage to say that to you? Because that could cost your friendship, isn't it? But the person said it to you. And what I think is it's really, really sad is when you live with a person or you deal with a person on a daily basis, you know that if she changed that thing, her life could change. If only this girl could stop doing this or that, I know she would find more happiness. I know she would get along with people a lot better, etc., etc. But, would you have the courage to say? Those who have the courage to say, they love. Now, let me also speak about how you say it. Okay? Even if the person comes to you and points something out, people are people. We don't always have the right words. We don't always know how to express ourselves in the most polite, way. But at least we said something that we think will help. So don't focus on how the person said it. Obviously, one should be careful how he says. But don't focus on that. Focus that now you have an important tool that you go like, wow, how come I never thought of this? This is going to change my life. Do you understand? Focus on what matters. This is so important. For example, my example of the black thing on my tooth the whole morning. Imagine if you have like an annoying habit that everyone sees apart from you, but it's not for a few hours, it's for years. For years you are that person with that problem. But one day someone cares enough to tell you. How can you not love that person? So don't keep a grudge. Accept it. She's blessing you, she's helping you. Sometimes your coordinator, the pastor's wife in your branch, the assistant is trying to help you. Don't see it as an attack. They really care and love you. Okay? And also, we mentioned marriage. Marriage is about truth. Honey, did you like my food? Maybe you can add more salt next time. Maybe you can cook something different next time, because every day we eat the same thing. So he's being truthful. You want the truth. Truth has a lot to do with love. So if you're not ready to hear something from a friend who is close enough to see that you have that problem, how will you cope in a marriage? I want you to think about that, okay? Now, Let's see what the task for today is for this week. Are you ready? It says, analyze yourself. See how you are facing the truths in your life and in your relationship. If facing the truth means going back to the end of the line, then go to the end of the line. Restart in faith. Correct your mistakes. After all, nobody's perfect. It is horrible to have to pay such a high price for something you could have avoided just by accepting the truth in the first place. So remember, truth equals love. Don't resist the truth. Just like when you read the Word of God, that is the truth right there before you. Don't resist it. Just like when you read the Word of God and you apply it, your life changes. Sometimes a little, maybe you have this quirkiness about your personality, if I can say so. You have this little way of saying things or doing things or treating people that pushes people away. So be humble, okay? That's all for today. Join us again next week. May God bless you. Bye-bye.